Hello there, I'm a day late reviewing 2010's Tron Legacy. Tron Legacy is the sequel to the 1982 film Tron. 28 years for a follow-up is impressive. More so if you consider that Jeff Bridges returns for more than just a cameo. I'm not gonna lie, this is a style over substance movie, but man, what style. Of course, computer graphics have come a long way in the intervening 28 years. Legacy is certainly a much glossier, more detailed looking movie. The world of Tron is quite stark due to the limits of the computers at the time, but the world seems more computer-like to me. It probably has to do with the artificiality of it. Let's compare the two. As you can see, no one is going to confuse the world of Tron with the real world. The world of Legacy, while different from ours, isn't glaringly so. That said, Legacy looks fantastic. I love the updated designs of the grid. Legacy isn't without its faults, however, and for that, we need to discuss the plot. Our movie opens in 1989 with the protagonist of Tron, Kevin Flynn, explaining to his son Sam, who will be the protagonist of Legacy, that he is able to enter the computer world, and there he is creating the perfect system with the help of Tron and a program that looks like Flynn called Clue. This is not to be confused with the other program named Clue that looks like him and died in Tron. Flynn tells his son that something wonderful has happened in the grid, but that's another story for another time as he needs to go to work. However, Flynn goes missing and is not seen again. So now we have a time jump. They don't list a date, so I will assume it's 2010 since that's the year the movie came out. Sam has grown and has inherited his dad's majority stock position in Incom. This is the company that became famous for producing the best-selling video games in the 80s, Tron and Space Paranoids. They have since gone into the computer software business and have a new operating system that is about to be released. During a board meeting, we learn that Jeff Bridges isn't the only returning actor from the original Tron. Bruce Boxleitner's Alan Bradley is back. He's a little annoyed that the new operating system is going to be sold, as Flynn talked of free software. And this is true in that in the opening scene, we see Flynn tell Sam that he wants to create free software. However, this veers wildly away from the character in the original Tron because the plot of that movie was about Flynn proving that he created the games Tron and Space Paranoids and he deserved the rewards from them and not Ed Dillinger who stole them from him.
Meanwhile, the kids are putting 8 million quarters a week into paranoid machines. I don't see a dime except what I squeeze out of here.
Anyways, the head of the board says that they aren't in the business of creating free stuff. Meanwhile, Sam breaks into the Incom building and uploads the software to the internet for free. Later, at his Pierside home, Sam is visited by Alan. Alan tells Sam that he received a page from Flynn's old office in the arcade from the first movie. Alan thought that Sam might like to go investigate what was up. Sam does go by, and he discovers a secret entrance behind the Tron game. It leads to a room under the arcade that was a secret office where Flynn was programming the grid. Sam finds his dad's computer is still on and running. He gets into the system and is looking at the last files accessed by his dad when he accidentally activates the laser digitizer and is transferred into the grid. He arrives at the digital counterpart to Flynn's and heads outside when he hears a loud noise. It's a recognizer. It lands and 2 enforcers collect Sam and load him onto the recognizer. It then takes off and transports him to the arena. Once at the arena, he is fitted with a digital uniform and is sent to the games. Disc Wars. This time, it's a bit more acrobatic than the original. Sam manages to win his matches and advances to the final against Rensler. Rensler is clearly popular with the crowd. It's a fairly one-sided fight with Rensler besting Sam, and he is about to deliver the coup de grace when Rensler notices that Sam is bleeding and knows what that means. User. A mystery person is watching over the games and orders Sam to be brought to him. Sam is brought to this individual and all is revealed.
Dad.
Sam is excited and he says, "Let's go back to the real world." He is told no, and even worse news.
I'm not your father, Sam.
And now it's off to another area in the arena. This time it's the light cycles. And to make it more interesting, Clue is going to personally take part in the games. Sam convinces some of the independent programs to team up with him, and they actually do well against Clue's soldiers. But then Clue turns the tide, and things are looking bad for Sam Wynn. This is Quora. She takes Sam outside the city to a secret lair in the hills. It is here that he is reunited with his father. So, the question of the day. How did Flynn get stuck in the grid? It's flashback time. Flynn created Clue and added Tron to the grid to help make a perfect system. And as they were planning it, something happened. New programs spontaneously came into existence. Isomorphic algorithms. Flynn is amazed and sees their code as an answer to many of the world's problems. All I can say is,
what?
Flynn doesn't really go into how these programs are going to answer the world's problems, but soon the point will be moot. Clue has a question for Flynn.
Am I still to create the perfect system?
Yeah.
And this is where everything falls apart. Clue doesn't see the ISOs as a benefit to the system. Too variable, too random. Clue then begins to convert independent programs to be his soldiers, and they wipe out the ISOs. Flynn goes into hiding as Tron sacrifices himself to save Flynn. Flynn couldn't make it back to the gateway as it only stays open for so long after being activated, and he didn't want to risk Clue being able to use his data disk to get out into the real world, because Clue doesn't just want to make the perfect system, he wants to make the perfect world. And that is why Alan got the page. It wasn't from Flynn, it was from Clue trying to draw out Flynn. Flynn, for his part, doesn't want to engage with Clue, and is content in staying in hiding. Sam has other ideas. If he can get back to the real world, he can easily delete Clue's program and save the day. Cora says that she knows of a program, someone that helped fight alongside the ISOs before they were all destroyed. A program named Zeus. He might be able to help get Sam to the portal. Sam takes Flynn's light cycle and heads to the city. Once there, he runs into one of the programs that prepared him for the games. She says that she feels that he is looking for someone and wants to help. She takes him to the End of Line Club to meet a program named Castor, as he knows Zeus and he can arrange a meeting with him. Castor is only too happy to meet with Sam Flynn, the son of the creator Flynn. Castor takes Sam into his office to talk less publicly. Once alone, Castor reveals that he is Zeus, that he had to change his identity once the ISOs were eliminated and Clue started taking over. He asks what he can do for Sam. Sam wants to get to the portal. Castor says that won't be easy. Many things to do to make that happen. As Zeus is explaining what they will need to do, 4 of Clue's enforcers crash through the ceiling in the main part of the club. Zeus explains that he used to believe in users, and that didn't go so well. Sam rushes out into the main part of the club to fight the soldiers, as a number of programs announce their defiance to Clue's rule. It doesn't go well for them. Cora arrives to protect Sam and does pretty well, but eventually she is damaged. And unlike most programs that shatter when damaged, only part of her arm disintegrates. Flynn then arrives and powers down most of the room. It provides a big enough distraction that the programs are able to overpower and destroy most of the enforcers. Sam grabs Cora's body and he and Flynn head for the exit. One of the surviving enforcers is able to grab Flynn's disc before they get away. For its trouble, the enforcer is then killed by Zeus. Flynn and Sam take Cora to a nearby transport that is headed towards the portal. They have to beat Clue to it, or all could be lost. On the transport, Flynn is able to repair Cora's code, and her arm begins to regenerate as she reboots. Back at the End of Line Club, Clue arrives with more of his enforcers. Zeus will give Clue Flynn's disc, and in return, he wants control of the city. The rest of the grid and the rest of the world can be Clue's. Clue agrees, and Zeus hands over the disc. As Clue is leaving, Zeus sees several enforcers leave behind explosives. Later, the transport arrives, but not at the porthole, and instead a staging area. Sam, Flynn, and Cora head below to hide in the transport when they discover that it is full of programs in stasis. Flynn surmises that because Clue can't create programs, he is reprogramming existing programs to serve his needs, and Sam sees them gathered and he says it looks like an army. They are about to be discovered when Cora hands Flynn her disc and makes a break for it. She is captured by Rinsler and Flynn recognizes it at Tron. Sam wants to save her, but Flynn says that there is another way. Rinsler takes Quora to Clue. Clue recognizes her as an ISO and has Rinsler take her to his command center. Meanwhile, he's going to address the army assembled before him. Clue gives a speech about how he is going to free the programs from the system and take over the world and make it a better, more orderly place for programs, thanks to the key of Flynn's disk. Flynn and Sam overhear this, and now they know where the disk is. The staging area turns out to be a giant transport, and it starts to head towards the portal. Sam wants to get Flynn's disk and tells Flynn to get a transport, so they split up. Sam gets up to the command room and defeats the guards and captures Flynn's disk. This sets off an alarm. Rinsler arrives with Quora and they face off. As Rinsler is defending himself from Sam's attack, Quora kicks him, throwing him off balance and causing him to slide over the edge of the deck. Sam then frees Quora from her bindings and grabs one of the wing packs that we saw the enforcers using earlier to breach the end of the line club from above. They jump from the command room and land on the deck below, which is full of numerous aircraft, one of which Flynn has commandeered. They make a break for it just as Clue and a number of his enforcers make it up to the command room. Rinsler manages to pull himself back up from the ledge and joins Clue and the enforcers in the pursuit of Flynn's aircraft. Next up comes what I feel is the most visually stunning action sequence in the movie. The planes work much like light cycles, but they also have guns. Our protagonists take out most of the enforcers readily, all but Rinsler. As Flynn sees him fly by, he says, "What happened to you?" It triggers something within Rinsler, and he pulls back from the fight. Clue jumps in, shooting the heck out of our hero's ship when Rinsler does this.
I fight for the users.
Our protagonist's damaged plane manages to limp to the portal, but Clue is there waiting for them. Clue and Flynn talk. Clue is upset at Flynn because he did everything that Flynn had asked of him. He tried to build the perfect system. Flynn explains.
The thing about perfection is that it's unknowable.
Clue lets him know what he thinks of that hippie bullshit. Sam attacks Clue and Clue tosses him aside. As he is about to finish Sam, Flynn reminds Clue to get what he came after. Clue turns to face Flynn and heads towards him as the platform retracts away from the portal. Clue gets Flynn's disc, only to discover that it is Quora's. He turns and leaps the span between the bridge, barely hanging onto the ledge. Flynn tells Sam to go, but Sam wants to save Flynn. Clue makes it up onto the platform and starts to advance on Sam and Quora. Flynn uses his power to pull Clue back to him and absorb his essence, and the two explode as Sam and Quora are transported out of the system.
Whoa.
We cut to Sam making a copy of the system in Flynn's basement. Alan is there, and Sam tells him that, as primary shareholder, he's going to move to take control of Incom, and he's going to promote Alan to chairman of the board. He then goes outside to an awaiting Quora and his dad's motorcycle. They go for a ride so Quora can see the sun for the first time. The end. And there you have it, Tron Legacy. A film at the beginning of this interview I called style over substance, and I stick by that. However, it isn't completely without substance. The reunion scene between Sam and Flynn is filled with emotion and great performances by Bridges and Headland.
You're here. You're here. I'm here.
But the specialness of the ISOs is poorly explained. Flynn says that the ISOs are going to be his gift to the world, and yet, what is so special about them? He hints at medical uses and something about their root code, but doesn't further elaborate. Then there's Clue's desire to go beyond creating the perfect system. That could have been better explored. Maybe have a scene of Clue converting programs and an outside user notices and fixes the code external to the system. These setbacks annoy Clue, and he then decides he has to escape the system and perfect the world so that he can secure the perfect system. I would like to have some reason for him going from create a perfect system to take over the world. Does he view these objectives as one and the same? The movie could also be seen as an example of the dangers of AI, but it doesn't really strike me that way. To me, it feels more like an excuse to string some very stylized action sequences together with state-of-the-art computer graphics. And on that level, it really succeeds. I found it to be visually stunning. I mean, just look at this. The only graphical failure is that of Jeff Bridges' de-aged face. It hits the uncanny valley for most people. Still, it's leaps and bounds better than the Rock from The Scorpion King. But it is a little stiff. If the movie is a warning about the dangers of AI, the ending with Sam copying the system to a SIM card is a bad decision. After all, the system was somehow generating new programs, in the case of the ISOs, on its own. And if it is truly a random generation, they can't all be benevolent. Too much random code and this happens. And finally, the music score by Daft Punk is outstanding. It fits with the film so well and is one that I like to listen to even if I'm not watching the movie. The movie was directed by Joseph Kosinski, best known for Tron Legacy, Oblivion, Top Gun Maverick, and F1. Of his movies that I have seen, I've been really impressed with his visual style, and he gets really good performances from his actors. It was written by Edward Kitsis, Adam Horowitz, Brian Klugman, and Lee Sternthal. Kitnis is best known for Birds of Prey, Lost, Tron Legacy, and Once Upon a Time. Horowitz is also known for Birds of Prey, Lost, Tron Legacy, and Once Upon a Time. Klugman is best known for Headcase, Tron Legacy, The Words, and Baby Baby Baby. And Sternthal is best known for Tron Legacy and The Words. It starred Jeff Bridges, Garrett Hedlund, and Olivia Wilde. They all do a good job, especially Bridges, as he is pulling double duty as Flynn and Clue. It was rated PG-13 for digital violence. It has a runtime of 2 hours and 5 minutes, so you'll have to set some time aside to watch it. It had a budget of $172 million. It made $400 million. So with Hollywood accounting, it made a small profit. IMDb has it at a 6.8 out of 10. Metacritic has it at 49 out of 100, and Rotten Tomatoes has it at 51% per critics and 64% per audience scores. I myself, I'd give it a 7.5 out of 10. It looks good, has excellent action, good performances, and an excellent music score, and the only weak point is the story, as it is fairly bare bones, but it is serviceable. In the end, I was very entertained. I say check it out. As usual, thanks for watching, and until next time.
It's one small step for man,